Somebody got the text message that I sent out to everybody?
Yeah.
Respond and say that go to YouTube Live. Somebody, yeah, y'all respond and tell all the students to go to YouTube Live. Tell them I couldn't do it with my phone because my phone is just right here.
BUC?
Huh?
The BUC?
BUC 141. What's up, man? What's going on? Still lifting weights?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even, so let me try this right here. All kind of good stuff. Like this right here. I'm gonna be a little tech giant around here after a while, man. There we go. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and get this party started, man. So, guys, this right here is BUC 141. This is above grade concrete, which you guys see. This right here is actually on grade concrete right here. So you see, we missed a whole bunch of these holes. That was actually supposed to be able to go that way, but we're gonna have to do something else. But guys, so you see what we got here. So what should happen here is the top of this right here, block should be the same with the top of those blocks over there. Does that make sense? Now it's not gonna be the same as what is this right here area right here called? What is this right here area? Y'all know what this area is? It's kind of closed off by itself. That's garage. What do you notice about the blocks in the garage? Huh? See if I can get to go around that way. Huh? What do you know about the blocks though? Look at the blocks. So you're looking at the blocks. If you're looking at the blocks here and the blocks for the garage over this area right here, what do y'all notice about them? So yeah, these blocks over here versus this block over here. You notice that they lower. We're one course lower, right? Why do you think we did that? So that's right. So that we can have the guys to come here and, when we build this right here garage, we can the water needs to go that way. So we can at least have a slope, right here. So if we about this high, right, we can at least have that slope going back this way. You see what I'm saying? It's going back toward the front of the garage. Because in this garage now, probably right over here, and this works out real good because the garage bay is about right here. So we got one bay here and one bay here, right? And then I think there's a door that goes right here. O'Neal, see if there's some plans in that plan box over there. You might need to, yeah. See if there's some plans in there. So we got to run all that water here. So what we're anticipating on doing is, go around there. There you go. So the main water line is coming in over here, and that's the first thing you guys really want to find out where your water and stuff is coming in. So your main water line is coming in over here. So it's gonna go up under that road, and we're gonna put a sleeve. I brought that little tube right over there by you, Gustavo. I'm gonna stick that little sleeve right here. I should have put it in there while those guys were doing the blocks. I put one over there for the sewer, but I should have had one in there for the water line. And so it's gonna come up here. Bring it over here. Good. So they left that over there. So over here, this is really good right here, guys, because this allows me to put like my water heater. You know, we got a little offset right here, but we got a window somewhere right here, so we're gonna put a water heater somewhere right over here in this little area. Okay? Huh? Now all the furnaces are gonna go upstairs. We're gonna put them in the attic. So one's gonna go, one's gonna go, thank you, sir. One's gonna go in the so you got two sides of the house. If you guys kind of look at this house right here, man, you got, now mind you, this right here not gonna be heating and cool right here. We're not gonna heat and cool this right. But you got this side of the house right here, and then we have the master suite side over there. Y'all see what I'm saying? So we'll have a unit over here in the attic, another unit over here in the attic, and then we have another unit on top for the service in the second floor. Does that make sense? And so, huh? Well, we're gonna have three separate units. Three separate units on this right here. So what you really want to do, and I didn't bring any tape measures out here, but I want you guys to get it. We're gonna test this thing out, man. So one thing that you want to look at, man, you want to test out to make sure these guys got this thing level. Because we're getting ready, we're gonna try to pour. I wanted to try to pour Friday, man, but it looks like we're gonna end up pouring like Monday or Tuesday. And then I got my framing package actually scheduled for Monday, but I might have to push them off a little bit. So I can't win, can I? Now, hey, man, I'm telling you, man, you just can't, man, you can't ever get it right, man. So we just have to play. So we got to, once again, guys, when you're dealing with this concrete, man, you working with the weather. You got your concrete laborers, the guys are gonna do the work. We're gonna have to have a pump truck, whatever it is. We gotta have a pump truck up here. And maybe one of them big line truck things again. And then you got your concrete. And you gotta have it inspected. So, and we gotta have the plumbing to come. The plumbing gotta get inspected too. So all these things have got to be right, man, before you can do anything. This is a lot of stuff. I'm saying it's not easy, man. This is why builders want to try to get about 16 to 20% profit on these job sites. You know, so I mean, this is why we do that, man. And especially on a spec home, you want to shoot for 16 to 20% profit margins. More than likely, you probably end up getting 13%. That's kind of how I usually work out. So, because there's a lot. If you're a builder, now if I got a superintendent, it's a little bit easier. If I got somebody kind of helping me out, which I will once I get this foundation going and get the framing going, it'll be easy after that. Then I can have my guys helping me out. Now on the next house, we got one coming up over in Trustville. On that one, they're gonna do the same thing they did over on the Birmingham site. I let them two work it, and I'll just kind of be in the background. So we'll see how that works, man. It's tough, man, but this is what we got, guys. So we'll put a water heater, guys. I'm thinking I'm going with this. I think I'm gonna start going with the what do you call that? The heat pump water heater. I'm starting to hear that they do pretty good. They're more energy efficient. This house is gonna be the epitome of energy efficiency. This is what I'm pushing for. Y'all notice I got that gravel there, guys. If I hadn't came out here, well, I got two more loads coming in the morning, and then I got my skid steer coming in. And when he come in, he's gonna go ahead and start spreading this right here and here. And then that way the guys can pour the gravel right here. But if I wasn't here today, guys, I don't know what it is, what's going on with the American people. They just can't do, you guys seen the movie Life? Huh? Y'all never seen Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence? There's a dude on there. You guys need to watch it. It's a pretty good movie, man. There's a dude on there called Can't Get Right. This is the mindset that I'm starting to have for the average American. And guys, I'm not talking about you guys. I'm just saying the average American person. They can't, just simple things, man. They can't do. If I would, like I said, if I wasn't out here, that guy would have came here. He would not have dropped that load here. He wouldn't have done it. He wouldn't have done it, man. I was here and I was like, and I had to think for him, guys. Now I don't drive trucks. I don't drive those big. I have a commercial license and I can drive a truck, man, but I don't drive it every day like they do. And these guys, man, so this is, man, this is a problem. So, but he wouldn't even, he wasn't gonna drop this right here, man. I was like, man, look, just bag that thing back and just drop it right there. Oh, it ain't gonna happen. I mean, it will. You gotta make it happen. So this is what we got, man. So we'll get this kind of get all this in here. We could just abandon the rebar, man. I'm just going to. It didn't work. So what I am gonna have to do is I'm still gonna run rebar, but I'm gonna tuck them inside of there, and we're gonna pour concrete inside of the holes. Does that make sense? And I'll just probably run it up to here as much as I can. It'll probably just stop, and I'll dial inside of here and stick that rebar inside of each one of these guys. Does that make sense? So we gotta probably have to cut one of those so we can get a skid steer in here and start moving this stuff around. Maybe he can fill this in. So we got to fill all this in. That's the front stoop right there. We'll fill that in too. So we'll try to get all this right here filled in. Once you get right up here, it's easy after that. Spraying all this right here is easy after that. But what we're gonna check out, we're gonna get this leveler here, and we're gonna see if these guys kind of hit this thing just right. And you want to check that before you do anything, before we start pouring. That way, I hadn't paid the block guy everything. I still owe him a little money. And so I can check this out. If it's not right, may need to call him back, to get the rest of it right. Any questions? Any OSHA violations? Huh? Any OSHA violations? I'm asking you guys a question. You guys see any OSHA trip hazards or something, I guess? Y'all don't see any OSHA violations around here? Jeremiah?
You didn't account for rock in this?
Huh?
You didn't account for rock in this? We're digging inside of a mountain.
Yeah, but I dug over there and we didn't hit rock.
Oh, that's your house over there?
Down the street down there. Yeah.
The one with the house right on?
No, not that house straight. Yeah, my house. Yeah, I dug over there. Yeah, I mean, I probably should have, now, if you calculate rock in here, you don't know how much you're gonna have. So those are unknowns. That stuff you just gotta get in here and you gotta do it. And if you hit rock, man, you gotta figure out a way to balance this thing out. Like in my case, I balance it out because this house is gonna be on the basement. I was originally gonna put this house on a basement, so I went back. So I had to go back to the bank and say, hey, look, this thing ain't gonna go in no basement. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to redraw the plans to have it to where I added more square footage to the house. So I had to got to redraw the plan to add the same amount of square footage than the one that we was gonna put on the basement. We just put the square footage upstairs. Does that make sense? And it balanced it out. So now I was able to get it on. I was able to offset that, which was I probably spent about a little over $30,000 banging that rock away over there. But now I'm kind of caught up now. So it's a balancing act, guys. Questions? All right, so let's get this right here. Let me see this. Did y'all tell them y'all told them to come on? Yeah. Okay, all right, they're coming in. Jeez. They spinning and spinning. Kind of like them rims. All right, guys. So this right here, guys, and I hope, I bet you when I get this up, man, my battery gonna die. That's how my luck is, guys. Now this right here thing right here is self-level. So I get this right here, get it in there. I try to get it as level as possible. Looks like it needs to go up just a tad bit. But when you hit this button and it starts turning, it's gonna self-level itself. Okay. The original one that I had when I first got this right, the one I had when the market went down, man, I had to go pawn it to get some money. to buy groceries, it had a little thing. It had you come over here and level this side, and then you go over here and you level that side, and that's how you level those. You had to hand level them, but they make them now, man, where you can just so it's gonna do itself. And when it starts spinning, so that means it done pretty much got itself leveled. Then we got so sometimes guys, you're not gonna be able to see that little light. I usually just kind of go up and down. You can put these on and it'll kind of help you see the light when it hits certain things. So it got me dizzy, man. And I think I forgot what this right here is for. You can find the light, huh? But I can't see it because it ain't nothing. It's too far back. You can't really see it. But that stuff will make you dizzy there. This right here, guys. So this is my stick right here that I use, and I kind of just I get over here and I get this thing going here. Let me just get these guys so they can see this right here. Guys, I think that the first thing you ought to get, if you guys are a builder and you're starting to kind of do this full time, get you one of these right here first. You need to check elevations. I checked the elevation of this lot before we did anything. I knew we was gonna have to move a whole bunch of dirt. So what you're gonna do is, I'm gonna come, let's just say for instance, I come right here. I'll come to this area right here. Let's see if I can get it. And it's telling you what it. So I'm gonna lock it in right here. So once I lock it in right here, I want to be able to go over here and hopefully I can get the same thing happen here. You see? So this right here spot may be okay. So we're okay. And this right here allows you to go to what's happening. Yeah, so we'll come here. You see, this is how that lets me know that this right here is pretty much level with that over there. You can't, guys, you cannot sit here and look at this stuff and tell. Don't think you can do that. So you come over here. That's what you wanna see in all the, and I come over here and check the back end over here. See? Then you can go over there and check all that, but it looks pretty good. But guys, that's kind of sort of what you want to do, guys. You want to check your elevations. And you got to know these elevations, man. This ain't something that you guys sit around and you just leave up to your subcontractors and let them figure it out. You don't want to do that, man. You want to come out here. When my guys came out here and started doing the block guys, when they came out here and did the block, I could tell them how many blocks or how high they were going to be at every point. And the guy was like, nah, it's going to be this. I was like, nope, you're going to be here. And when he got there, he was like, yeah, you're right. Yeah. You got to know that. And the reason you need to know that is because it's going to cost you. You got to figure out how many blocks it's going to take to do all this. That's what I got left over there. I ordered too many blocks, way too many blocks. And I don't know. The reason I ordered too many blocks because I made a decision. You see how you see right here? Like right here? Where we got it lower? I made a decision to not put those blocks all the way around. That's that right there. So I made a decision while we were here not to do that. Does that make sense? That's why I got those extra blocks over there. Most of them are going to be cap blocks too. So you gotta, guys, you gotta have the numbers. You gotta have everything figured out. You guys want to? Any question? Any questions on this right here?
What's okay, the 3 buttons? Like, can you describe?
So one button, this button right here is to turn it on, right? I don't now this you got one that tells you it's telling me where to move it. See, it's telling me where to move it to get it just right. If it goes right here, that means I need to go up just a little bit. I guess I can't get it until you get it just right. You see, it's telling you where to move it, where to shift it at. And it has a little level right here in the middle too. So sometimes, like when I'm holding it up, I'm trying to see where I am. Like when I first started measuring this stuff off, like I think I was over here in this corner over here, and I was over here, and I had to hold it up to see. But you see a level here. You got to get that little dot right there in the middle. But you got to hold it up, and I can see the elevation drop because I was trying to get the elevation drop from here, from there to about right there to the front of the house. I was just trying to see how much fall we had to kind of have an idea how much dirt we was gonna have to move on this lot. Okay, and so yeah, and then you can take it and adjust it and move it up and down. Most of those guys when they pouring like when he doing the that's what they did when they were doing the footing. He was walking around catching it, and then that way he know to level it out, know to pour the concrete or rake the concrete and pull it in the right place to get it the right height.
How much one of those cost?
These right here gonna run you about 275 to maybe 350. They make in all different. I always get the Bosch. DeWalt makes one too. A lot of guys are using those, but guys, like I said, guys, if you guys are gonna be doing, if you're gonna be doing new construction, you gotta have one of these right here. You gotta have one, and something else you gotta have too, guys. Um, and I don't know if everybody got this. I don't know if you're just born with it. Guys, you gotta have vision. You got to have vision, and you have to have the ability to initiate. That's something a lot of people can't do. They can't. I got guys right now, man. They got the builder's license and stuff like this, man. But but they're not initiating. They're not taking that step to initiate. Just go out here and do it. I mean, you got to initiate. You got to be that person, man. Like I said, I don't know if you're just born with that. When I was a kid, man, I used to look at like I used to get dogs. I used to breed dogs and stuff. Certain dogs will bite you, and certain of them won't. But the one that won't bite, he'll never bite. The one that will bite, and they're like that for the rest of their life. It just never changes. I don't know if it's a certain mindset or attitude, and I just think, guys, you just get better at it. Now, me, in my opinion, I believe in. You guys ever heard of the alpha male? You guys ever heard that concept? I hate all these loud trucks come through. So there's a concept called alpha male. And this gonna sound really, really strange, man. I don't think I'm an alpha male. I don't think I'm an alpha male. I know that sounds really, really strange, guys. My company's called Alpha Construction. I play as alpha, in the fraternity. But I don't really think, because I think an alpha male, you're born that way. My brother is an alpha male. If you look at him, you could probably tell. All the girls used to like him. He just had that look, man. They see him and immediately they see him, they like, oh, I like him. He just had that charisma. He was that guy. I was never that guy. I was always the guy that they say, they'll tell me, they say, how your brother look like this and you look like this? I mean, the girls would tell me that back when I was a kid, man. But I think alpha males, you're born that way. But one thing that you guys can get is you can work on becoming more masculine. This kind of stuff right here, making the decision to execute and make things happen, to me, that's more masculine. That's a masculine trait. You gotta tap into your masculinity. So I think what I've done over the years, if I've worked on my masculinity. I've just worked on being a masculine man, and don't let people tell you that you're toxic because you're masculine. So the next, yeah, they do that.
I like to live by a little quote. It says, "You gotta let your fear of regret be higher than your fear of failure."
Yeah.
That's what people are too scared of failing, but it's just a numbers game.
It's called, well, I'll tell you who gave me that one. You heard of Robert Kiyosaki? Rich Dad, Poor Dad? I suggest you guys read his book, man. Him and Donald Trump did a book together called I think it's The Art of the Deal or something like that. He did one called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He did one called Cash Flow Quadrant. Guys, if you're going to be in business, that's mandatory. Mandatory read. You got to read them. And what he said in that book, Robert Kiyosaki, I had to give him his credit. He said, don't let your fear of failure be greater than the excitement of succeeding. And I have embraced that. Back when I read that book several years ago, maybe probably 20 plus years ago, before I even started my company, I just kept playing that over and over in my head. I can't be afraid to fail. See, you can't be out here playing not to lose. I tell my son when he playing sports, don't play not to lose, play to win. If you play to win and just let it be that, then you win. All right, so the next thing you want to do, guys, is when you're gonna get your plans, you're gonna get your tape. But this is before you pour, okay? Or before the block guys are completely gone. You're gonna get these guys right here. This is the foundation plan right here, guys. So what we're gonna do in foundation is telling me where all the gravel is gonna be, all the concrete and stuff like that is gonna be at, right? We're gonna measure each one of these. I'm gonna measure each one of these walls. I'm gonna do this while you guys I'm gonna do this tomorrow. But I'm gonna measure each one of these walls and make sure each one of these walls are right. Now, one thing I was out here, trying to see if that my wife's coming in. I was out here when we squared the house up. So I was out here with the guys when we squared it up. So I think we're kind of good at that. As far as the squaring it, I think that should work out pretty good. And so you want to come out here and just measure everything. Make sure they got their little offset back there in the back. Make sure they got that right. Everything's got to be right. Any questions?
Yeah, how are y'all gonna get a skid steer over that block? Level that out.
Tell them how we're going to do that, Sam.
Pellets. Do what? Put the pellets up there so the skid steer can drive over it. Or the pallets.
Yeah. Oh. Worst case scenario.
Is it a dingo or a skid steer?
Skid steer. No, you ain't gonna get no dingo out here doing all that. See all the gravel right there?
Yeah.
All this gravel right here?
Oh, that's all right.
It's gotta be over here. Yeah, you ain't gonna do no dingo with this right here, man. You be out here for 2 weeks, bumming around with a dingo. So what we'll do is, now worst case scenario, I'll just bust a couple of these blocks out, you see, and then just let them drive on here. That's what I was gonna do at first. Then I started, while me and Sam was walking up here, I looked at this right here. I said, okay, we got some pallets here.
I don't know if those are gonna hold it. You might be better off pouring some dirt over it.
Well, the next option would be, yeah, to take that gravel, build it up here, and then we'll see. But we'll see what kind of, and he should have the tracks on the but these are things, yeah, this is just a thought now. I raise these suckers up and see if it'll work. If it won't work, man, hey man, we take that gravel and build this bed up and then move it. Or worst case scenario, bust these blocks out and then they'll just have to form this right here. They just have to we got some boards down there, we can form that.
I think that skid steer's gonna crush some pallets.
Yeah. That's fine.
How you gonna do that though? You gonna clean it out or just level with our gravel?
Well, we'll level it out. I'll just level it out like I level this right here, push this on, get all this spread out, and then just come back with all this gravel and just put all this gravel in it.
I mean, wood though.
Huh?
About the wood get out.
Oh no, the wood don't need to be in here.
Yeah.
Wood don't need to be in here at all. And why is that? Well, the cool thing about it is that the gravel's gonna help with that. So even if you got a void down there, that's why the gravel is better than having dirt. But no, you don't want wood just in your, you don't want wood in your soil anyway, because wood, it does create the voids that we talk about, which is why we're gonna use all this gravel in here. But it creates the voids, and it also creates methane gas in the bottom when it deteriorates, and that's gonna be over years, but it still creates that gas, and that gas can seep up. Now, mind you, you have plastic, you have poly on top of it that'll stop that gas. But I mean, you want to try to have the best indoor air quality that you possibly can in these houses. Hit me, y'all. Questions? So the next thing, so here's what's gonna happen, guys. You got a rundown of what's fixed to happen. So next thing's gonna happen, we're gonna get all this gravel in here, right? And I'll take pictures, so we'll put that on YouTube or whatever, and you guys will see how it look. It's gonna look totally different. Then the plumber's gonna come in this week, and he's gonna go ahead and put all my plumbing lines in. So he's gonna put stub outs everywhere my plumbing stuff, all the plumbing drops. I got my plumbing drop over there in that corner over there, and I'm gonna have my septic tank over there, and then my field lines are gonna run around the front of the house. And so he'll get his stuff in, he'll run everything over there. It's gonna be in the gravel. It's gonna be inside the gravel. So he's gonna do his thing, call the concrete guy back out here again. He's gonna come in, he's gonna fill all this right here back up again. He's gonna, because the plumber gonna be done dug holes everywhere. He's gonna get everything back right again. Then what we're gonna do, we're gonna take some rebar and run that rebar, in the garage area. Now, I could put some chicken wire here, and I think I'm still contemplating on putting a chicken wire, a wire mesh is what they call it, throughout this whole slab. Or I can use the fiber concrete.
Will that actually strengthen it, the chicken wire?
Yeah. The only problem is the chicken wire needs to be floated 2 inches. The concrete is gonna be 4 inches, right? So the chicken wire needs to be 2 inches. But the problem is when the guys are pouring the concrete, what are they gonna be doing? They're gonna be stepping on it. So they're gonna be pushing it down, stepping on it, pouring it. So we're not gonna. I'm always concerned about that. So I think the best way to do it really would be to do the fiber in the concrete. That makes sense. Y'all ever seen? And I'll show you guys the next time we come to class. Yeah, it's mixed inside of it, and it has the fiber. It actually, I used to use that a lot, man, especially for my slabs. But it actually adds strength about as much as the mesh, the wire mesh.
So this would be a slab.
This right here this would be called the proper term would be a stem wall slab because of this right here, because of the blocks we built up first. No French drain. Water's not now, mind you, when we get that wall back there, I'm gonna have to slope this and run this water around the house. Still got to run that, so any water that's hidden right here on the property itself, it needs to go around the house and go. Once it gets out here, we're good. If I can get it right here on this right here is gonna be a turnaround. They will have somewhat of a little small yard right here, a little bit in the back right there, a little something. Worst case scenario, huh?
It's gonna be like something engineered to get the water.
Yeah, so we got the geostones, and they got a fabric behind it, and that fabric takes the water behind the rock. It takes that water and it gets rid of that water. Yeah, so there's a lot of thought that goes into this stuff, man. So question.
Is there a reason this block is cut off halfway?
Huh?
Just for strength and the concrete sits on it.
Talking about the way, because yeah. So what you want is we come here, we pour this concrete. Thanks. It's gonna be like this right here, right? So mind you, this 4 inches right here. So that's 4 inches. So the concrete gonna come just like this. It's gonna be just like this right here. Notice how the concrete is filling these boards right here, actually holding everything together. So typically what you want to do is, like say for instance, what I was trying to do over there, stick rebar in here and bend it right in here. And then it locks everything together with the concrete. Now those holes in the front, all that right there, all the concrete, we're gonna pour it in the holes, the block. Strengthen that even more. You see? And you can tie anything. Now you can actually take that wire mesh, and we used to do that. We stick them in these holes right here. Stick that wire mesh in these holes right here, and when you pour it, it locks everything in together. Questions? Y'all got some good questions, man. I like this. So we get our plumbers out here do this thing. Maybe Wednesday next week. That's realistically when we're probably going to end up pouring.
Was it just a money thing why you didn't have the rebar sticking out? It's gonna cost too much.
No, because you don't talking about how the rebar sticking out of each one of these right here. No, that's not a money thing. That's just you see they couldn't get that right. That's just
Oh, you don't like the footings? The footings?
huh?
You don't like the footings?
The footing's actually okay now. When I start looking at it now, it's actually okay. It could have been done better.
A little bit of waste.
Yeah, that's no, not a little bit of waste. There's a lot of waste. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. My only headache is looking at that waste, like right here. All that right there, that splatter over there. That just, my mind just not, it's not enjoying looking at that. But as far as like the footings, this thing right here is it's here. It's locked up pretty good, man. We got the rebar in the footings and everything. And remember, guys, that footings, when you pour in footings, it has to be one continuous pour. I'm sorry, it has to be it has to be continuous. So you can't have no breaks in that footing. You can't pour half the footings one day and come back and pour the other half another day. You can't have what they call a cold joint in that footing. You got to pour all that on one day or at the same time for a house. Hit me.
Okay, can't pour it like that because with the curing, it'll take too long to cure or something like that. Or why you can't pour it like 2 different times?
Yeah, because you don't want to. Cause see, once you make one pour, if you come back the next day, say you stop right here at this one section. If I stop right here at this section right here, well, when I come back and I pour again, that you got a cold joint because this one part is already cured, so it's not going to be connected to the other part. You're gonna have a forever cold joint right there in the middle or right there, and that's a structural weakness of your footing, and that's what you don't want. Remember that concrete, it will crack now, and that's why we put the rebar in here to keep it. Concrete is not that strong, flexible. But compression wise, it's very strong. But so what we want to do is we want to make sure we get the whole pour, get that rebar in there. That rebar helps with that flex, that what they call it, flexing, the flexing part, keep it from doing this flexibility. So it helps with that. But yeah, you gotta anytime you guys are pouring any home and you pouring that footing, it's one pour. It has to be continuous. The code says it has to be continuous. Now, you might run into a situation where that almost happened to me, guys. I was pouring, it was getting late at night. The concrete guys finna pack up and go home, and my concrete guys on site didn't call in and tell us we needed another truck. So I had to, I'm looking at it on the camera like, man, did you guys call in for the next truck? No, they didn't call. They just sitting there waiting on them. Ain't nobody called. Huh? No, these guys were expensive. No, these guys this was a house I did over in Trustville. No, probably about 2 or 3 years ago. And they just didn't call the thing in, man. This is miscommunication. And so but here's what I didn't know. And I was talking to one of the concrete guys, that was the guy that was doing the truck. If you start a footing, right, they got to keep them trucks there and they got to pour you out. If they tell you they got to go home, if the concrete supplier said they got to go home, you got a legitimate lawsuit on those guys, because you got to have a continuous footing. And if they send all the trucks home, they leave you hanging. Well, now you got a messed up house, and you can never get out of that one. Now that's what they told me. I had to verify that, guys. But I called the concrete company, and they were supposed to send the guys home. I was like, nah, man, I need one more truck. And they said, okay, we're gonna go ahead and send you a truck. That's probably why they went on ahead and sent them. But they sent them out there, man, and I was able to get that thing pulled. But it was so much stress, man, because on the back side of that house, what ended up happening was we went on the back side. It was just like that house over in Birmingham. Remember how we went deep? But it was much deeper. It was like 7 feet. So we like poured one footing like 7 feet. This is another thing that we don't know. I think somebody was asking me. You was asking me about how do you not know this stuff on the You know, like you got to look at this stuff on the front end, and you calculate this stuff. So anything that got to do with digging, you can't figure that out. Because I don't know how far I got to dig in the ground before I get onto the soil that I need to be building on.
Yeah.
I can't control that. God controls that. So now you might want to put some in your budget for it, but see now if you're doing a build job and you put too much money into the budget, what's going to end up happening is you're going to overprice yourself out of that house. So now you're not going to get the bid. So that's why your footings, you need to let those be a budget item or an allowance item, like budget item, whatever it is. But let the homeowners know that, hey, this is what I figure it's going to be based on me doing these jobs right here. But if it's more than this right here, you got to pay the difference. If I hit rock, you got to pay the difference. That's how you want to deal with that, guys. Because, like I said, guys, you don't know what's going to happen until you start digging. And you're not God, man. You just don't know. Does that make sense? So you got to have that continuous footing. Let me see what else we got. Like I said, the plumber gets out here, do his thing. Then we got to get it inspected, guys. So the next thing is going to be, it's got to be inspected. So we get the inspectors to come out here. They bless it. And then we go from there. And then we can start framing. Oh, you can't quite start framing yet. You start framing when you get what they call a foundation survey. So I have to have a survey. The surveyor got to come out here. Once they get the slab in, they're going to come out here and mark the corners, and they're going to put it on a plat on this lot, and then I'm going to send that to the Shelby County. Let them know that I'm putting this house in the right place. They're right there driving all fast in my neighborhood, man. We don't allow that here.
Is this like
Yeah.
like make sure it's squared off and all that?
Well, they don't do that. Inspector's not going to do that. I did. Yeah. We had a footings inspection, so that was done. Next inspection going. That's done before your footings. Before we actually start pouring footings, we got to have a footings inspection.
After they dig it out.
Yeah, when they dig it and they put the rebar in there,
Yeah.
and they run everything in here, you got your ground rod over. Yeah, I got my power ground over there. I got another ground over there. So once we do all that, then we can yeah. Where did that car go? Okay, I'm gonna have to go talk to them. I'm the neighborhood watch. No, I'm just kidding, man.
What's the pitch on your roof?
That's 1512. Steep, ain't it? Yeah, that water's moving. Yeah. So that's about, so that right there is about 15. That might be 12 right there. It's only those right there that's 1512. The ones on the side like this right here, those are the ones that's 1512. The other ones are gonna be 1212. Huh?
This one would be 12.
No, this one is actually 1512. This one is let's look at it. Let's see. So 1212. Oh, 1612. on these gables right here. So you got 1612 on these guys.